Hello, hello. Let's see if this actually ends up working. My computer sounds like it's gonna explode. Okay. Let's see here. Should be a live stream appearing right now. $9:30. That's right now. Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna share this with the Discord, and then I'm gonna get into it. Hopefully this is working. I'm on my computer's in the shop, and I just was watching Fox Off RPG was doing a live stream earlier, and I thought, I haven't done a live stream in a really long time, so why not? But yeah, I have some stuff in front of me that I'd like to talk about, and we will see what happens. Yeah. All right, so I just grabbed some random things that I've had that have been sitting around on my shelf forever, and I thought, why not take some time and talk a bit about these things? So I've been wanting to play Mothership lately. I don't know why, I'm just in a sci-fi mood. And I was thinking about this, and I just had a funny idea pop in my head. I was looking at some pirate Borg adventures, because I don't have a lot of Mothership stuff. I have like this little pamphlet, So You've Been Chump Dumped, a little trifold adventure. And then I have one that Josh Yoder gave to me whenever I was at PAX or Gen Con, one of those. It's a very short one. I thought it looked cool, and it's probably easy to run in an evening kind of a thing. But then I was sitting there, I was like, I don't really have a lot of Mothership stuff. But something dawned on me. You guys might think I'm crazy for saying this, and maybe I'm off my rocker. But I was sitting there looking at my Pirate Borg adventures, and I thought, this could be a Mothership adventure. It's got like a little bit of a horror element, you know? There's a lot of undead and things in it. And all you would have to do was change like the ships to be derelict spaceships, or even, you know, this island could be like an old derelict space station, you know, barely clinging to life with like a small little colony next to it on a crater or something. I don't know. It's just the thought I had. I've been wanting to run more of these zines that I already own, because I own so much stuff that I've never touched. And I thought, I bet the conversion wouldn't be really that difficult, you know? Just make these caves, cramped corridors in the derelict space station or something, and just change the flavor up a bit, and you pretty much could turn it into... Jordan, if you see chat or your mic is picking up twice. Oh no! Yeah, I'll just mute one. I think I can do this. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. Yeah, actually, let's swap this. For some reason, I have a desk mic. Oh, I see. Okay, I think so I'm not using my normal setup. My computer is actually in the shop. It just is completely on the fritz. So I'm using my little laptop. I think my laptop has a built-in mic. So thanks for letting me know. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for gifting a membership. My ear trumpet was struck by lightning. Appreciate that. But yeah, just to go over, in case it was not clear with the doubled up audio, my thought here was like, you could probably take, you know, some Pirate Borg adventures and make them into like a derelict space station and run them in a game like Mothership, you know? It's right there. I mean, even the color scheme's the same. Look at that. But yeah, so anyways, I've just been thinking about some sci-fi stuff, and I had all these things sitting around. I found an old OSE module that I have called Z and 2 knots. It's a level 0 funnel for OSE, and it's pretty much already like a space station, or like a spaceship comes to town and starts snatching people up and taking them prisoner and experimenting on them and putting them through all these trials and stuff. So like, it's basically already. I'm just trying to get creative here with like ways that maybe I could run. I'm thinking about doing like a solo Mothership. And the thing that really made me want to do this was this book right here. I was flipping through this book, which I also have like the cards to, which I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, probably the GPD pocket mic. Hey, morning Swords and Stones, morning Kinder. What's up, Thomas? What's up, Phil? Jeff Jones. Wow, we got a lot of people already. But this an infinity of ships. This is like one of my favorite things I own now. I love a book that is just a good tool for game masters, and this book is all about like making ships and rolling tables and like generating cool ideas. And I could even see, just starting out in a ship, like rolling up randomly, figuring out here. Let's look at it. Let's dig in for a second. And I love the names. The names of these ships are amazing. Let me find one of my favorite ones in here. Here it is. Coffee is for closers. Greed class heavy trader. And it's got everything from like key tech, value scramblers, social amplifiers, Nova coated tractor spikes. Then your interior vibes, pieces missing everywhere, junk filled, secret doors, music playing, bought baroque, rhythmically complex market chatter, atonal growling, reverb heavy loot. It's so, I love stuff like this. This is like my favorite kind of book. This and the Monster Overhaul are now like my two favorite books that I think I own. Captain. Head Hun Fang. Networked fingers, no irises, fashionable, seductive, dead eyes, and infectious laugh. Developed by the meta-level marketing company Synergy is now. The coffee is for closers harnesses the power of social networks to recruit distributor cells, friend groups, with the promise of quick riches selling disruptive data product in adjacent star systems. Individual recruits are beamed up to the ship via its great eye and replaced by Sin drones imprinted with their personalities. And then you have, when your ship needs some truly odd spaces, roll 2d66 to generate a unique area and reason why it exists on the ship. So you have your area and what it's doing here. These are just, I think these are really fun tables. You could just generate adventures and ideas if you're running like a sci-fi style game with this book. It's so cool. There's even like a, let's see if I can find it. There's like a sort of pre-made dungeon crawl in here. I wish there were more of these. Let me find this. Yeah, stuff like this, where it's like, this could be like the layout of the ship or something. Well, that's not the ship. That's Truckles, whatever that is. I wish there was like one of these little maps for every ship design, which I know would have been probably a lot. But there's just so many cool ships through here that I'd love to see like someone's idea of the layout, maybe the author's idea of it. Maybe it exists somewhere and I don't know about it, but hey, what's up, Whispering Wisp? I saw that on drive-thru recently, so it's good. I personally love something like this. I was just saying, I really love a book that is a tool for the game master, or like a tool for generating ideas, or just even like coming up with an adventure rather than, oh, that's cool. It's like the Danger Doom mask or whatever that's called. What is this? But yeah, just to show you something else too along with it, there's this, I got this for Christmas, so it's been a while since I looked at it, but there are these cards that have a lot of the same stuff that's in the book. But, you know, if you're like wanting to shuffle up and like draw, like if you're doing solo play or something, you could shuffle up and then decide like, oh, that's the ship that we come across in space. What it's doing, maybe that needs another table. Or you can even do like, you know, you've got like, I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but grim dark names for the ships. A waste of good suffering, all hail the new flesh. Meme names, sacred names, hip-hop names like Crash Your Crew. I'm not going to read that one on stream. Get Your Freak On, Mr. Nasty. Hyper pop names, sad cowboy names, these are my favorite. The Blackened Eye, Another Kind of Blue, Holy Roller, Moonshiner. And then you have like, maybe I'm not seeing how you would randomize these exactly, but you could roll, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could roll some D10s and add some things together. And then they have these little like scenario kind of cards. There's a card somewhere in here describing, oh, maybe I just put it down. Each tech card has 2 technology options. Pick the one that piques your interest or meets a need and slide it under the picture card so only that half you're using is visible. Okay, I see. Like, you know, you got this ship or something, and then you slide this under and you say, run-of-the-mill particle defectors. And that, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's probably too small. You know? So this would be, there we go. If it ain't broke, don't over-engineer it. This tech has been deflecting particles of all sizes and types since the before times. Or, you know, we can take our coffees for closers and let's flip it. Warped Dream Wave Generator. Oh, my cats are fighting. What started as a common restful sleep aid has been hacked and amplified to remotely project nightmare visions and hallucinations for organic and inorganic intelligences alike. So just a fun little way to like use some of the information and stuff from this book, it looks like, and generate some ideas or like, you know, create scenarios. And then we've got, oh, that's all the names. Yeah, so cool little addition if you do happen to have the book and you like it. I wouldn't suggest picking it up until you like really get an idea of what the what you would use the book for. But I thought, you know, if I end up playing some solo Mothership or something, I'm definitely gonna need these cards. It'd be a fun way to like shake things up and randomize it. All right, let's see what we got on chat. Hi all, solo Mothership. I know Scudderford Mike did it with one of those modules. Another good sci-fi random table book is made by Roll and Play. Oh, what's the name of it? I'm curious. Oh yeah, it came with this little 100 Strangers, written by Stations, illustrated by Roque Romero. But yeah, I thought this was cool too. You can get some random NPCs, it looks like, on this. Yeah, let's see if I can get it good enough that you could pause it later in the restream. But I thought that was pretty cool. Comes with the book. And welcome to the future. That's fun. But yeah, I mean, there's just all kinds of info in here. Like, oh, let's see. Let's go to the front. Designations, descriptors, experimental tech, names, systems and statuses, bumper stickers, AI, captain, crew, drones, gender and orientation, relationships, vibes, and then areas within the ships. Then you have like stuff, quantum radio, which is fun. Maybe you pick up some quantum radio signals, then you have to find out if they're, you know, real distress calls or kind of reminds me of like Fallout. You're always listening to the radio. Factions. Let's go to 78. I love me some factions. Let's just check out what they got here. 77. Which group owns this ship or used to own it before you stole it from them? Roll to find out
the type of group, their obsession, the scope of their influence, and what they are most known for. All right, let's roll some dice for fun, right? I got some D6s somewhere around here, don't I? Give me 3.5 seconds. All right, dice. D6. Oh, 55. This is the part of the Rebel Network group. 25. Erasure. They're obsessed with erasure. Their influences, this is a D2, so we'll say minor. And then over, part of a planet, in power for a few months. They are sharing power with whom? Oh, let's roll one more time over here, 65. With a weapons manufacturer. And then group part 1, group part 2. Oh, this needs a D20. I got some of those. Believe it or not. We're going to say that's 17 and 10. Group part of Soul Jammers. Soul Jammers. Classic. The art is cool for inspiration. Good table, covers a lot. The Game Master's Sci-Fi Toolkit by Roll and Play Press. Also has the Sci-Fi Characters Kit. Message me that, Merlotron, if you don't mind. I will look it up after the stream, because that sounds really cool. Erasure. Are they being erased, or are they erasers? Yeah, my pirate board dice. Yeah, I just really love books like this. I think, like, one of the more that you game master, the harder it gets to break out of your sort of ruts that you always fall in. So I love books like this for inspiration, for random tables to shake it up, to spark ideas. Sometimes I bust out books like this, or like Knave 2E, just to, like, I'll pick a table. Maybe it's mutations or something, and I'm like, all right, these aren't going to be normal goblins. Let's give them a mutation, and I roll on it, because the last thing everyone wants to do is fight your stock standard boring old goblins once again to start off an adventure, you know. Man, yeah, these I love the, like, variety of the ships too. They're super weird. Some of them are like more organic. Oh, there's another one of those little I think this is the section about rooms. Let's see. Vibes. I'm curious. Roll, remix, and set the scene, be it a ship, a room, or any other situation. Use this table to jump into the unexpected and keep it strange. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's a D666 table, which I don't even know how many combinations that is. That's crazy. All right, let's see what we get here. We're going to vibe for a second here. 346. We're going to say 346. Laugh track, not unkind. Petty cages, if we stick with the same number. Or you could just go. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, let's do one roll on each side. So we had laugh track, not unkind, and then 551. Let's see what we get on the opposite side here. I should just start my solo adventure. Webs. Teeth. I'm just looking at what's on here. Location on the ship. It's a D10. That's cool. Oh, okay. This is like maybe a basic layout for a ship, it looks like. So you could have these are things that should be on most ships. It looks like bridge, engineering, recreation, medical, cargo, power, mess, like mess hall, quarters, armory, and lab. Ship areas on following pages written with John Gregory of Unlawful Games. Then you have room features, big buttons, vibes, item descriptors. names and such. Yeah, it's just such a cool book. I really want a reason to use it more. I think eventually, I have like a Shadow Dark club right now, or just really I'm calling it the Asheville Roleplay Club in town, and right now we're mostly running Shadow Dark, but I want to run something sci-fi just to break it up a bit and do something different, because I feel like sci-fi is like the opposite coin of fantasy, or opposite side of the coin, and like I just haven't explored a lot of sci-fi as a game master. I think it would be a lot of fun, but I gotta find the right game to do it. Hello.
Hi.
This is the kiddo. What's up? Talking to the chat online here. Let's see what everybody's saying. Soul Jammers. More like Soul Jam with all those tables. Toast. Everybody get up. It's time to slam now. Dark Space for Shadow Dark. Yeah. I've actually played Dark Space. The first page I went to, I played with one of the creators before it was like fully fleshed out. It was a lot of fun. It translated really well. There were a couple of small things like torches were basically like batteries that charged either your like rebreather or whatever.
That's who you talking to?
Talking to the whole internet right now. Can you believe that?
What's their names?
Well, there's a lot of them. Let's see who's here right now though. We got Sam, Phil, Thomas.
I know Thomas.
You know Thomas? Hey Thomas, you got a fan here. The little goblin, yes. Before I'm probably gonna go pretty soon here, but before I go, I want to share a couple other things that I've had that are sitting around. I got this with one of the Kickstarters I did. And I just thought this was like the coolest thing ever. This would be really fun for like solo play or anything like that. Think outside the sheet. Always a good idea. But yeah, it's essentially these little character sheets that also came with. So there's a whole bunch of them. I don't know how well you can see these. You can randomize them and draw them. You could use them as NPCs. They've got a little bit of info there. And there's like regular level 1s, I want to say, and then there's like level 0 ones that don't have a class yet. But one of the coolest things I thought was really neat about them is it comes with this little tear off character sheet thing, and you just place it right there once you get your character, and this is where you write all the info in. If anything like changes, you can track it right here. So it's like a really quick way. I just thought that was super cool. Fun way to like generate some quick player characters if you're like running a one shot, or doing solo play and you want some NPCs or something. Like, just a fun idea. A deck of crawlers. I would love to see more stuff like that in games. Just think that's a really handy little tool. And it also reminded me, whenever I was looking through it, that I had this game sitting around forever that I haven't played. That might actually be a good inspiration for Mothership. It's called Escape the Dark Sector. It's like its own little card game, but as I was looking through it, I kept thinking, man, these are basically like Mothership characters. You have a bunch of the crew here that you can play as, and then there are rooms on these like large tarot card type things. Showing off your art.
Hi, Dada.
Bye, where are you going?
We're going to story time.
Oh, story time. Have fun. We'll see you later. Love you. Alright, and then they're basically these rooms that you can draw from, and they do, or like points, vectors, or whatever, and you just read them off. And I thought they'd be really good prompts if like you're playing a solo adventure. Like maybe you can even use tables in the other book and roll on them and like mix it all up. But it's things like this. This room is lined with magnetically sealed deposit boxes, filled with contraband confiscated from detention block prisoners. As a group, choose one option. Move on. Time is of the essence. Turn to the next chapter card. Or hack. Nominate a member of the crew to try and hack the terminal to open boxes. For each success, draw an item card. For each failure, the overhead security shock nodes activate and a hacker loses 2 HP. I just thought, like, man, these are... And the art is, like, so right on point for, like, Mothership that I thought, man, wouldn't that be cool to just, like, mix it up and maybe, like, create your own adventure by just opening doors on a derelict space station. But yeah, I just had all this stuff laying around, and I thought, like, why not use it, you know? Why not find a way to tie it all together? So maybe I'll do, like, a solo adventure, and there are, like, items, stale rations, and gear and stuff. I haven't even opened this. It shows you that I haven't even got to play it yet. But, yeah, just kept sparking ideas. They come with these cool little dice. You could roll these to, like, shoot a gun. And, there's, like, a crit shot, regular shots, I guess a malfunction, and blank, nothing happens. Miss or something. But yeah, you got a rusty pipe, battle rifle, chrono bombs, force field, rocket launcher, all the good stuff. Unmarked pills, brain stem. Just, this looks like a fun game I need to play sometime, but, I missed a lot of chat. Let's catch up real fast. If you roll something cool, write it down. The laugh track roll was funny. Melts my heart because my daughter does the same. Yeah, she always shows up. Good timing. Back in my day, fantasy had elements of sci-fi. Yeah, that's another cool option. Like, I've never done a true sci-fantasy... I was gonna say campaign. That's not necessarily true. I did run a DCC campaign before my daughter was born. We ran all the way up until her birth, and then it just kind of died out because, yeah, new parent. But it was very sci-fantasy. It was a ton of fun. Shakes Fist in the Sky. Character cards are sweet. Where did you get those? I'm going to assume, Phil, you meant the crawler cards. They came with a book, a Kickstarter I backed called Tower of Six, I want to say, is what it's called. It had visions, dark visions, and a couple of other things with it. Let me grab them really fast just so I can show you. They're right here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the Kickstarter that I grabbed them from. Dark Visions and Devoured Labyrinth. Which I think you can still find. I think Zach Goins and his team made them. RPG Ramblings Publications. Or you can check the Creature Curation website. They might still have some available. But yeah, good stuff. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Barrier Peak Adventure was Spaceship, wasn't it? Also remember stuff like John Carter. Yeah, there's a lot of precedent in role-playing games. Early on especially, there were a lot of mixing the genres, sci-fi and fantasy, and I think it works. I mean, you know, what's that classic saying that significantly advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic? I think something like that. I probably butchered it, but the idea that, like, if the or significantly advanced, is that what I said? If the technology is advanced enough, then it might as well be magic, because it's like a caveman finding a cell phone and turning on the light. You know? Alright, I gotta keep going down this. John Carter of Mars, lots of the 60s, 70s had sci-fi and fantasy. Cruel comes to mind too. Cruel was dope, though not really sci-fi. I never played it, but saw it on the shelf. I was into high fantasy at the time. Company meeting. Time to go. See you, Phil. Arthur C. Clarke. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff out there. The Dying Earth books. You know, a lot of the... I feel like the Michael Moorcock stuff has some sci-fantasy elements. Maybe I'm mixing that up. Alright, last thing. And then this is gonna be a short stream. I just had some time to kill before work. And, wanted to talk about some of the stuff I've had laying around that I use. Actually, I think the thing I need is up here. Let me look real quick. Is it these? Nope, that's my dice. Somewhere, I have a bag full of minis that I've been really enjoying. I wanted to talk about those because nobody ever talks about minis, you know, and other than wargamers. But yeah, so they come from this Sickest Witch, Severed books by, oh no, Jason Sorois. I have one of his things right here. Let's see. Where's my Sickest Witch? Yeah. Sickest Witch. But yeah, these have been some of my favorite minis lately. I take these pretty much to every game with me. It's a couple of combos of different sets, but I want to show them off. I'm going to zoom in a little bit if I can. Let's see here. Very professional stream today. Boop. Doot, 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 doot. Alright, there's 2 times. That'll be easier to see. I've got my Land of Eam meeples that I really, really love. Even if people aren't using characters that look like these, they're just really, really easy to distinguish and remember who's who. And usually I actually have whoever's my player who's holding the torch if I'm doing Shadow Dark. Usually give them the mushroom mini. And sometimes I even just use one to represent the whole party. But we actually have like a gnome in our game, so that's fun. And this is usually our goblin. I just like the colorful, very bright, very easy to see. And then that's usually my party. Every now and then somebody grabs one of these because they feel like very heroic Shadow Dark style characters. And a lot of them have like a good color scheme or like a very distinct look, like holding a torch. Or I like this dude with he's got the shield in one hand, the sword on his back, and the torch in the other. But I just love these. I don't really have much to say about them other than that, like, they've been really fun to use. I don't like having to have a bunch of bespoke minis, you know, that are like... I used to collect, like, the D&D 5e minis, right? Back when I was playing that game a lot. And I just never had the exact creature I wanted. So I've kind of gotten to the point where I just base it on the colors. You know, I'll be like, these 3 are my thugs, and whatever, these 3 orange ones are my goblins. And I just kind of tell people that. Or I use, like, these came with a game that I bought, but they're also really colorful, and they're these little fat minis. You know, like I use this one for like constructs and stuff. Robots. This is usually like my classic goblins. We got an elf here, which is fun, and they're really durable. They're like, you could stomp on these and they're probably not going to break. There's a little dragon or something, or a kobold. And then I just have different colors of the same kind of stuff. Little guy with a shield. But yeah, I'm all about the very colorful, very distinct minis. And then I bought a few more of these from Sickest Witch that they're just like large creature size. So that's good if they're fighting like a big tree folk. They fought with this huge tree folk, and I think I used this, even though obviously not a tree folk, but like pretty cool anyway, and works. Like, you know, when you got your guys standing there next to this thing, it looks appropriate size. and they're pretty lightweight too, so they don't, you know, add a lot of weight to the backpack. Because I travel to play. We play at a local art gallery that my friend runs, and it's nice to have lightweight bag of minis, you know. Like, I just throw them all in that bag and I take them with me, just to show off a few more of these, because I think the art is really cool on them. That's like what initially drew me to them, because they all remind me of like Bloodborne or Dark Souls or something. Very cool stuff. But yeah, use a lot of these. And then, now that I'm making a big old mess, let me just clear this out of the way for a second. Last thing I use, just usually as like minions or NPCs and stuff, I have these pogs that I got from the Shadow Dark booth, and I will just put these out, even though they're not typically the right size, just to represent, like, you know, even like sometimes if someone drops a torch or something, I'll throw that down. And what I usually do is, like, you know, if it's just like a one-hit minion kind of thing, I'll flip it over after they, you know, kill that monster or whatever, and just to show that, like, the body's still there, to remember to loot it. And then I'll flip them like this. Then I got a big old Stingbat Slammer that goes with these, like, pog things. So I've done this as the boss monster before, because it's a little bit bigger and thicker and shinier. But that's pretty much it. I got, oh yeah, little dwarf guy. Look at this little dude. Here, I'll put him next to our priest. So there's a fun little mini-sized dwarf guy. Came with one of the sets that I have. And then I just got some random other stuff. Like Ben Milton did a video a while back of these, like, 1-inch kind of pog things. And I thought, man, that's such a cool idea. I ended up doing the same thing. I got a slightly smaller punch than he used, but I found, like, old Magic the Gathering cards, and I punched them out and just glued these on. And sometimes, like, either my players will use them, or I'll use them for, like, NPCs and stuff. And then just a bunch of random... Some of these I got from, like... If you ever go to a gaming convention, find the board game hall, because people will have these minis and things that they just give away. Like, they made them to play test a game or something. And so there were a lot of these wooden meeples laying around that were free. You know, I got some stuff like this little bear guy ranger with a bow and an axe. Just random stuff. A compass, if you ever want to, you know, just a prop to say, like, this item is right here in the room, that kind of thing. So I have a bunch of random things. And then I even use dice sometimes to represent monsters or whatever. I'll just put down one and be like, all right, this thing's over here. You got a fighter right here. You know, you guys are game masters. You get it. You know the deal. You do what you use, what you like, what makes sense to you. I don't get really caught up in all the. There's so many products out there online that I think you can really start feeling some FOMO about all the cool Dwarven Forge and whatnot. If you've ever played a game with me, you know that I draw my maps, I then scan them, and I put them on my VTT or whatever. I'm very old school in that way. Like, I use what works in the moment. I keep it simple, and I don't worry about things like having all the right pieces and stuff. I use my Land of Eam meeples are my most used thing at the table, other than dice. Alright, well, I'm just rambling now. I just, hadn't done a live stream in a while, and I thought maybe I'd jump in, talk for a bit. If you guys have any questions, we've been running crit games. I've been playing some 7 Delving Sins. I know a lot of you that are in here are part of crit, so, if you guys want to talk a bit about anything going on, I'm just chilling right now. I got a few minutes to kill. I don't think I'm gonna end the stream immediately, but hopefully you guys can hear me well and all that. I didn't do any kind of testing before I just hit record, so we'll see how it turns out. I know the beginning I was doubling up on my mic, but Panda Ranger. Let's see. Clever and concise and professional. Those are great. I've become a big fan of Arc Knight flat minis. Oh yeah, I've seen those. I have almost pulled the trigger on those several times. Those are like the little clear flat minis that you can just like plop into a stand, right? Those are very cool. I may even end up pulling the trigger on those because they're so lightweight. They're just like sheets. Those are really cool. I draw on index cards and use standees or acrylic domes. That's another cool thing too. I really like. I have the index card RPG deck that like sometimes I will literally just throw out a card and say like, you know, mine cart's over here, door over there, or I have these dry erase cards. I don't know if you're talking about the same thing, Sam, but I have these dry erase cards and I'll just write like Goblin on it and put it in front of them and say like, if I don't have a map, if I'm not doing that kind of game, it's more theater of the mind, I'll put like Goblin 1, Goblin 2, Goblin 3, and just let the players say like, all right, I run up to Goblin 1 and like put their mini by that card and stand them over there, because that's another great way to do things quick, to not worry about distances. You know, if it's not super important to like the scene or the combat, I do love my index cards. They're amazing. In fact, they're probably in my big box of crap right here. Let me put these away before I pull something else out. I'm making a mess. And I keep all these in Ziplocs because I'm psychotic like that. And I don't like to mix all my things. I got my random bag of stuff. This is my least used bag, but alright. Where's the little guys? Did I mix these? Oh no, I did. Oh well, I'll fix it later. Alright, come here, you. Let's see. Put all these, and then all of mine go in this bag. I have this little bag here. I just stuff all the mini bags in the big bag. That's how I roll. I lost one. Oh well. Alright, let me show you this, because we're talking about index cards. Also, if you're a crazy person like me and you still play Magic the Gathering sometimes, I feel like Magic cards can be used for so many things. Like, you don't even have to come up with a goblin description. If you have a cool Magic card, you can slap that in front of someone and say like, hey, alright, I'm gonna fight this goblin, and you run over here and fight the goblin arsonist who's about to run the bomb straight into the town there and kamikaze or whatever. Anyway, I'm not gonna pull out my whole Magic deck here, but you get the idea. Or even like I've had toyed with this idea in the back of my head for a really long time, of taking a bunch of lands from Magic the Gathering, a bunch of basic and non-basic lands, and making a deck that I can solo play or like sort of generate like a hex crawl with, because then you have like a really great evocative picture, you know, because the Magic the Gathering artists are amazing. And you could make an entire hex crawl, shuffle the deck up, start, you know, mapping it as you go, and run a really cool adventure that way. I have a lot of weird, probably unconventional ideas when it comes to using what you have. Okay, I'm not going to pull this whole thing out. This is a big... I got all my random crap for Shadow Dark in here right now. You survived, and my how you died stamp. Oh, just came up. Cause of death. But among them, come here, little guy. You have some regular minis floating around somewhere. All right, among these is this little deck right here that I keep with me for many reasons. Speaking of which, yeah, look there. There's some magic cards. But yeah, look, I did that video where I talked about hit dice. These are still on here. But yeah, you can just... I did a video a long time ago that's probably buried and dead now, but about just being like, okay, you know, here's Goblin 1. And you just throw that on the table, and then your players can be like, alright, I run up and I attack Goblin 1. You know, and they put their mini on there. I also have the Shadow Dark, the index card ones in like a binder. I keep mine in like a weird order in a binder so that if I'm like, alright, they're hitting a town, I'm going to pull out the specific places in the town. Then it's easy to find. And then in the back of this little deck box here with all my dry erase ones, I have a set of, I call these my like adventuring day. If I'm like getting real granular with my hex crawling, I go early morning, midday, sunset, nighttime. And I just break the day up that way. And I hand it to a player and I say, all right, you're tracking time, you know, tell me what you're doing as you guys travel. And they flip them as they go. They're like, all right, you know, early morning we do our scouting run. That takes up a crawling turn or like a hex turn, whatever. Midday we travel a hex, travel another hex. You know, sunset we set up camp, and then we do our 2 night, whatever, like oh my words, watches or sleep, you know, whichever. Or they do it in a different way. They travel at night, you know, whatever. But these cards let us quick track the days rather than like writing them all down and stuff. Well, that was just a fun idea I got from a combination of playing the Dark of Hot Springs Island. And I think there's actually, now that I have the Pirate Borg box set, there's actually a very similar thing. They might be coins though, or like tokens or something. But just a fun, quick way to track that kind of stuff. If you're, regardless of system, you can just say like, you know, you get like 3 actions, or I guess it's 4 actions during the day and 2 at night, however you want to break them up. And whether that's travel, maybe you can only travel 3 hexes in a day. So you travel in the morning and midday, and then do something different in the evening before sunset. Anyway. Alright, I missed a bunch of chat again. I get really caught up in whatever I'm explaining and I forget to read. I draw index cards and use... Yep, I read that. Panda. That is totally a playable character in Grit. Oh no, I missed it. What's a playable character in Grit? I'm like 10 things fairly fast that now. Sometimes I'll use a single mini and dice for the rest of the group. Yeah, I do that too, especially if I have like a map that's not really to scale. Sometimes I'll just move there. This is the whole party. You're in this room, kind of a thing. And then we'll usually theater of the mind if stuff happens within that room. The Arc Knight have color and numbered bases. I'm probably about to pull the trigger on those. Wish they had more sci-fi minis though. Don't they have a at least like a sci-fantasy set? I thought they did, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I've done things like that, but just with regular paper index cards. That's a good way to do it too, and then they're more permanent and you can save them if you're a better artist than I am, and your goblins don't look like that. Or they can. I mean, it doesn't really matter. One thing I really do love about index card RPG is the very DIY style of it all, right? Like, it does not ask you to be an artist. It just asks you to run a fun game. And as someone who is not really an artist, I appreciate that. I'm gonna put this stuff away. Gotta get all the toys out. Yeah. I use them for random pulls in my solo games. Cool idea. It's a great Hexpoint Crawl idea. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, when you're doing it enough, you got to get creative. Otherwise, it gets hex scrolls can really grind to a halt or get bogged down in the details if you don't have a good system to run them with, I think. Or at least for me, I got really, really granular the first hex scroll I ever ran, and I decided, okay, I really need to streamline the process. So I've come up with a few things that help out. I will maybe try the land draw hex crawl. Oh yeah, for Magic the Gathering. I feel like it's fun, and also like Magic the Gathering has some really interesting worlds that aren't super fleshed out. They have like themes and big ideas tied to them, so I feel like they would be really good worlds to explore in a role-playing game. Get a 1-inch hex hole punch, bunch of MTG land cards. There we go. Cut out the shape, shuffle them up, and make a hex map. That's brilliant. Kinder, that like solidifies the idea that I was throwing out there. Yeah, that's really smart, actually. As long as you don't mind punching holes in all your Magic cards. I might have a stack of them that I wouldn't care to never use again, and then just make like a whole deck of them. The other thing I was thinking would be cool, and this is literally just off the top of my head right now, but I have a lot of sleeves for Magic the Gathering cards. Let me see if I have one right nearby. No, I don't. But I thought it would be cool to take the lands, put them in a sleeve with like a little cutout that covers up all the text on the card and just leaves the land image. Here, we'll do this. Yeah, like if I could cover up, this one doesn't actually have any text, but like put like a white border in this sleeve that covers everything, and then I could write my own text in there as I explore or like roll tables and figure out what I find. And then I've generated like a whole area on that card with the art to like really cement it in my mind. I just think that would be really fun. You'd have to do a lot of cutting or hole punching or something to get those little card shape inserts, but I think it'd be worth it in the end because you could create reusable resources. You could keep using those cards for other campaigns and just shuffle them up after you've created them. Should be a lot of fun. But yeah, great idea with the hole punch too, because you could just literally lay them out and like glue them or something, or get like little sticky, what is that sticky tacky stuff that you can put on like boards and like reuse them that way. So brilliant. Love it. I have those stamps in my Go case. Nice. These two right here. Yeah, this is like, you get bonus XP in my Shadow Dark game if you complete a whole dungeon. And then obviously if your character dies, it's a fun way to send them off. So hey, see you, Thomas. You're probably long gone, but thanks for stopping in. Dry erase cards are so good. Yeah, they're just honestly like the dry erase cards are probably the most useful item I have because they can be anything. You can track your own monster HP with it. You can say Goblin 1 has taken, 3 damage, whatever. And then, 4 damage, and then 6, and then 8, and then it's dead. This goblin had a lot of HP, I guess. Or you can write down Boon, and then plus D4 to remind everyone that they have Bless or something, and they get an extra D4 on all their rolls and throw it out there. Or all the other examples we've already been over, writing down what's in this area, that you dropped a torch on the ground. They're just infinitely useful. Yeah, best investment I ever made. I just bought a bunch of those cards and I shove them in one of these like Magic the Gathering deck boxes, and it all just fits right here. You throw that in, close it, put it in your bag. So you can ask your players, what do you notice about this goblin that sets it apart from others, and get some fun ways to differentiate them. Yeah, I love doing that. And in fact, that's something I try to do more, especially when I'm running like 7 Delving Sins. I think asking your players to inject some ideas into the narrative and stuff or just into the scenes are a lot of fun and can be a good way to shake things up and surprise yourself as the game master, because that's another fun thing. Is like, I feel like if you're not having fun as the game master and you're just sweating bullets and trying to remember text all the time, I have less fun that way. I like to be surprised by my players. That's like half the fun of running a game, is the weird ways that stuff goes sideways. Panda Ranger, that's why I said lands. They are common. Yeah, fair enough. Some are. I'm thinking too of like non-basic lands. You could definitely find enough variety in basic lands, but sometimes it's fun when you get a non-basic land and it's like the Bleeding Grotto or something, and it's got like this tunnel with, you know, bones sticking through it, or like, you know, ruined tower, wizard tower or something. There's all kinds of lands now. Sent you a link on Discord. It's 500 land cards for $31. Don't do this to me. I'll end up buying it. That's a great idea, though. All right, I think we're gonna call it here. I've been streaming for almost an hour. This was just a random. I had about an hour to kill, and thought, like, why not? You know, I haven't streamed anything in a while. I need to do. The channel hit 5,000 subs, which, to be perfectly honest, I never knew if I'd get 100 subs or 1,000 subs. So I feel like that's a pretty crazy milestone to me. So I need, what I'm trying to say is I need to do a live stream to I did a poll, and I think everyone most voted for doing another create an island, which oh yeah, let me grab my book here. Because it's relevant to my current Shadow Dark campaign, I have been still making islands. We're doing an island crawl right now. Here, move this out of the way. Yeah. Alright, we've been doing an island crawl, and I've just been non-stop making islands. So I'm going to do one live, because it's been a while. If any of you have played Crit with me recently, you might recognize this map, because I just ran it. So, but yeah, I've still been making islands. We came up with Troll Skull Island in one of the videos. This is Jotunheim, which was in another one of those live streams. And these are some ones I've either pulled from other adventures and I'm going to just plug dungeons into them. Like Isle of Serpents is, I think, Caverns of Thracia, I want to say. This is one I made up called Flatfoot K, or rather, Flat Tooth K. Skull Island is from a DCC adventure. Black Coral Bay is from Pirate Borg. But basically, when my players find an island, I just show them this page, and I'm like, this is what you see. Isles of Andric is from the third Cursed Scroll Zine, and then I'm working on some other little ones. We got Zamoth, which is from Isle of Worms or something from Crown and Skull 2. These are some other ones I made up. But yeah, I've just been making some islands. Elder Oak. Having a lot of fun with it. Just getting out some drawing, pulling some ideas from my head. And the way I'm running the island crawl, if you're not up to speed, is I have a ton of already published adventures just laying around for old school games, and I'm gonna just run those. I'm gonna plug the adventures right into the island, so every island has like an above ground sort of adventure and then the underground dungeon. So should be a lot of fun. It's been fun. We've mostly been on Troll Skull Island. We have a lot of players right now in the game, and things are moving slower than I expected. They spent a lot of time in this dungeon and then a decent amount of time on the surface, and they finally got a boat and had like a big pirate battle. So it's been a good time. Yeah. Sent you a link. Okay, read that. You can use Avery printout stickers for the land card area rewrite idea. Oh, I'll have to look that up. Avery printout stickers. Congrats on 5K. Thanks, Cybrandir. Appreciate it. All right, so that's it for today. Look for another live stream. I'll try to do the thing where like I post it ahead of time rather than what I did today, which is just start it. But I'll do a 5K live stream where we make an island crawl, or an island for the island crawl. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining me. Just like I said, had some random time. Wanted to talk about a few zines and things I had. I have so many zines and stuff laying around that I want to discuss and let people know about, because I think a lot of them are very cool and worth mentioning. So maybe I'll do some more of these impromptu live streams where we just talk tabletop stuff and it doesn't have to be anything specific. So if you enjoy this, like the video or something, or whatever. I don't know. What do people do on YouTube nowadays? I'm so out of the game. But thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully this was fun. Good to hear from everybody. If you haven't already, go to Game at Crit. There's still games going on for a few more days. I think it goes till the 28th. So I want to shout them out. We've been having a lot of fun. I've been running 7 Delving Sins, and even now, I'm like, as I'm playing it, things are emerging where I'm like, that could use a slight tweak. So it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, check it out if you want to play games with me. I think we still have a few slots in my last game. So maybe as of this video we do, but maybe not later. But that's tomorrow. And that's it. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. I almost said choose chaos, but that's not my thing anymore. Learn, adapt, grow. Peace.